considering making a move to Utah County. We're in Spanish Fork, Utah today, and we're going to share with you a few fun things about why this might be one of those communities that's at the top of your list. We're going to talk about why people live here, a couple of the unique things like the rodeo. We're going to look at some schools, we're going to look at some shopping, and give you a little bit of a taste of why Spanish Fork, Utah.
And we're also going to go into the pros and cons so that you can decide for yourself if this is where you want to live. We're Rod and Melody from Rod and Melody, living in Salt Lake City, and this is a suburb of Salt Lake City.
All right, let's go take a look.
We're Rod and Melody, your guides to living in Salt Lake City and beyond. With over 30 years in Utah real estate, we're here to help you navigate this beautiful state with confidence. We make videos about living in Salt Lake, exploring the suburbs, and what life in Utah is really like. We've helped over 1,400 families make their move in, out, and around Utah. And whether you're headed to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we've got you covered. Okay, we are back in the office, and I wanted to dive in to the map. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we are on the map. Wanted to show you exactly where Spanish Fork is in relation to Salt Lake City. So Salt Lake City is right up here, and if you drive down I-15, that would be south, you'll run into Spanish Fork, which is right off of I-15 in about 45 to 50 minutes. If it's high traffic hours, you're going to be looking at maybe an hour commute. Getting over to the airport, you can take a couple of different routes. We've got a few new ones that are coming. I don't love driving on I-15, and so I would go this direction. And once this connection is made, it is there right now. It's just not an interstate yet. That's Mountain View, and then you can hit the airport, which is right up here. If you'd also like to go I-15 to Bangalore and straight out, Bangalore is under construction right now, and so the airport is right up here. Airport would be about the same. You're going to be looking at about 45-minute drive, maybe an hour in high traffic times. Let's clear this all out, and let me show you another one. This is what makes Spanish Fork so great. Yes, we are a suburb of Salt Lake City. Spanish Fork also, it is only about 25 minutes to Provo-Orem area, which is where BYU is. So if you've got anybody that's going to college, BYU is a great college in Utah. So this metro area is about 25 minutes away from Spanish Fork, and that's what makes it really appealing. Lehi is what we call Silicon Slopes in Utah. It is where a lot of our tech industry is, and so if you're driving into that area, it's about 30 minutes, I would say. Okay, so we do like Spanish Fork for one really good reason. Let me zoom in. Let's clear all of that out, and I'm going to zoom in and kind of show you that it is located really interestingly in between these big major roads. Okay, so you can see Spanish Fork is in this red outline. It's kind of an interesting shaped city, and it does straddle I-15. I'm one of those people that I just love to look at the topography. So let's look at the topography really quick. You got Utah Lake, and you have all of these mountains here. So it is a beautiful location as far as being able to see the mountains, be close to the mountains, and be close to Utah Lake, which has a lot of recreation on it. I wanted to show you a couple of different places that you can go if you've got school-age children to look for information about the schools in Spanish Fork. Now, every parent looks at schools through a different filter, meaning they know their child the best, and so everybody is looking for something a little bit different. I tend to lean towards the Montessori system, and so anytime that I make recommendations, I'm trying to point people to that direction just because of my own personal filters. In Spanish Fork, we do have some really good options. The first place that I would look is in the Nebo School District website. And there's a lot of information here that will help you know more about the schools district and then the individual schools. If you look right here, we can see how many schools we have in this district. And this district does span a couple of different cities, Salem to the south, Mapleton to the northeast. So we do have quite a few schools in this particular school district. And so this is where I would start depending on what age your child is. This is another website that after I know the school district and I do some searching there, that I'll look at just for scores and ratings. It's called greatschools.org. And it shows us here in Spanish Fork. See, Nebo School District actually goes Salem, Mapleton, and Springville, and Spanish Fork, of course. So those are the areas that this particular school district cover. I would be focused in, obviously, Spanish Fork right here in the middle. And you can see that we've got some really good schools. If I click on even one, it is 6 out of 10. So that's what those numbers are, the rating score on greatschools.org. And these are good. For public schools, they're really good. As you can see, we've got some fairly good ratings for public schools. 3 is the lowest, 7 is the highest. If you wanted to be in Mapleton, this is a Mapleton school. This is Maple Ridge School right on that border. The next website that I would check is called niche.com, NICHE.com. And this one shows us, again, a similar rating on the schools. You can see that we've got some really good schools in Spanish Fork. C plus being the lowest, and then you got B's, B pluses, B minuses right here. Again, this school keeps showing up in Mapleton as a little bit better school. So if you do want to go to Maple Ridge, you will need to be in Mapleton. But again, we've got some really good schools in Spanish Fork. Okay, I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, and that is that you've got limited shopping choices in Spanish Fork just because it is a little bit further out. But you want to know that this area is expanding, and so you will see a lot more options moving into town. And you know, how far do you have to go in order to be able to buy clothing and different things like that? So let me show you that. Okay, here's our shopping. There's a lot of secondhand stores or lower budget clothing stores like a Ross and things like that. We also have Reams at Western Outfitters. That's kind of a fun place because you've got the Western style, like that one. And then Pre-Loved, Uptown, Cheapskate. Those are like the lower end stuff. But in this area right here, you've got your Buckle. Five Below is a dollar store. And Hobby Lobby is for decorating your house. You have to have that, right? Swig is actually a soft drink shop. In Utah, we do have a lot of this type of drive up where you buy soft drinks, and sometimes it's either soft drinks and French fries or soft drinks and cookies. So Swig is one of those places. My kids love that place. Again, most of your shopping is going to be in this retail area. You've got a cinema, Target, McDonald's, everything right off the highway. The next thing that I want to show you is how close you are to the mountains. If you are an outdoors person, you're going to want to know this piece. It is a really appealing part of Spanish Fork. Also, you can, hike, bike, ride, horseback ride. There's a lot of different activities that can happen here in this area. So let me share this screen with you. This is Utah Lake. Spanish Fork is right here. You can see all of these little parks and things to do. So these are parks, but all of this green area is mountainous. Let me show you the layer. Again, I really do like that because it can, you can really see the topography. Strawberry Reservoir is just up the canyons. That's really fun. You can go boating up there in the mountains. It's really pretty. We'll show you a video about that later on. But this is Spanish Fork in relations to our mountains. I'm going to put a link to a video that we're doing about Mapleton because we've got these two canyons that we're going to be looking at from the city. and also sharing with you some of the other things that we can do in Mapleton. It's very close to Spanish Fork, and so the two kind of go hand in hand. So watch for that video link and we'll get that over to you. From Spanish Fork to Strawberry, you're going to be going up to Provo Canyon, and you're going to pass by a lot of these awesome cities in the back Wasatch. Wasatch Back is what we call this because it's the back of the Wasatch Mountains, and get over to Strawberry. That is the lay of the land on Spanish Fork.
So Spanish Fork has always been kind of the gateway to the mountain range, to hiking, camping. It's always been a little bit more rural. So while you're commuting distance to some of the hubs like Provo, Orem, and Lehigh, you get more of a country feel and a little bit more space to roam. You'll be able to get to the Silicon Slopes. You'll be able to get to Provo pretty much anywhere along the Utah County corridor. The other thing is there's tons of new homes and a lot of space still to grow. So it's one of those areas that's going to continue getting a little bit bigger over time. Another one of my favorite things about Spanish Fork, aside from the outdoor activities, you can see the mountains and the hiking trails. They absolutely have some of the best city parks in Utah County. You can kind of see everything behind me, incredibly well maintained, always lots of people to meet, and family-friendly environment. The next thing you're going to love is the easy access to the canyons, the mountains, the biking trails. All of the stuff that people come to Utah in the summer to do is right in your backyard. All right, we are here in front of the Spanish Fork Fairgrounds. This is the home of the Fiesta Days Rodeo, big professional rodeo. Everybody comes. This is one of the main draws in town, but I wanted to take a second and just look at that backdrop with the mountains and the snow covered and the pine trees. This is absolutely gorgeous. Spanish Fork has a municipal airport, and it's also pretty close to the new Provo Airport, which is one of the fastest growing airports in the country with inexpensive trips all over the place. Now the downsides, yeah, it's still a small community, so you're going to have limited city life. You're going to have few high-end restaurants to choose from, and it's Utah, so sorry guys, not very many bars. And although it is a small towns sometimes mean few traffic options, so traffic can build up around Main Street during rush hour. And because there is space to grow, you're going to experience, unfortunately, some construction zones and some growing pains as this place continues to become more and more popular. So ongoing construction and growth because of its popularity increase may be a downside for some as well. One more thing you're going to love about Spanish Fork is it's 4.1% less expensive than Salt Lake City.
Okay, now let's dive into what the current market looks like, and I want to show you a couple houses in different price ranges so you can see the type of house that you might be able to consider if you are thinking about moving to Spanish Fork. Okay, here we are at, I've logged into soldbymoser.com and clicked on search the MLS. So we are now in the actual MLS looking for houses in Spanish Fork. Again, just wanted to show you the map. Salt Lake City, Spanish Fork, about 45 to 50 minutes away from each other. Okay, here we go. This is the houses that are currently available. I want to narrow it down just a little bit so you can see how many houses are in a certain price range right now. So I'm going to say minimum 0 and up to 400,000. Let's see how many we've got with that price range. And you can see exactly where they're at. Okay, in our 0 to 400 price range, we have 40 results, so 40 active properties in Spanish Fork that we can choose from in this price range. In the 400 to 600 $1,000 price range, we have 45 homes that are available in Spanish Fork right now. And again, you can kind of see where they're at. They are in a similar area as the ones that are in the lower price point. You can see here you've got houses that are newer, probably the 90s. Okay, now let's go back and we're going to Go again to the filters. We're going to filter 600 and above. Okay, we had 45 on that one. We're not going to put a max on this just to see how many we have that are above 600 and show you how affordable Spanish Fork really is. 44 are above. So as many as were between 400 and 600, we have above 600. So that tells you that our median price is 400 to 600 in Spanish Fork. So really good price ranges. We've helped over 1,400 families move in, out, and around Utah. So whether you're moving to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we've got you covered.
And if you want to learn more about living in the suburbs of Salt Lake City, then watch this next video.